Take a look at these images that are flooding in from Jefferson City right now. And as you see them, you'll likely agree with us, they are rather heart-stopping. A tornado ripped through the town, leaving behind extensive damage. Homes and businesses are destroyed. Trees and power poles just snapped in half. And residents right now are busy assessing their losses. News 4 does have team coverage this afternoon in Missouri's capital city. You'll notice our Justin Andrews and meteorologist Megan Danahay are in Jefferson City. They've been there since early this morning. We begin with Justin this afternoon. And Justin, the extent of the damage, really hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah, it really is. We're standing in front of a church here. This is the Community Christian Church in Jefferson City, and the core of the damage here. Look at this. You see those windows busted out. You can peer straight through the church walls here. You see chairs and tables toppled over. To the left, metal beams scattered throughout. But I really want to show you this, Claire. This is something that really got our attention this morning. Playpens and also a slide, a play area brushed up against the church. Again, nearly everything inside this Community Christian Church whipped around by the winds. Let's look at the video here because we got a first look inside as Minister Bethany Embler took us on a tour of the major damage. This church building has been here since about 1964, and some of the original charter members still go here. We're talking books, historic mementos, all destroyed inside this church. This church has about 75 active members, I'm told, and the minister noticed one thing still intact during the interview that reminds her there is still hope.
And this is where you normally would worship?
This is where we have our Sunday morning worship, yes. And I will show you where our cross stayed. I'm so grateful because it's incredibly heavy.
Now that cross still in place as so many people across the capital city just trying to look at this place and look at it from a new lens now because they're not used to all of this destruction here. And as you know, Claire, I was born in Jefferson City, born in St. Louis, raised here in Jefferson City. And first thing this morning, I checked with my family, made sure they're okay, things are fine. But this place really, you can't put it into words. You see things that you are normally used to seeing now just literally ripped to shreds.
Yeah, give us an idea, Justin, when you first got into town and then when the sun came up this morning. I mean, the difference for you being so familiar with the streets of Jefferson City.
Yeah, really good question. So we were on our way. We were on the interstate this morning. We actually ran straight into downtown Jefferson City. The minute we hit downtown Jefferson City, literally blocks from the state capitol, we saw that damage. A lot of areas over there damaged. Then we made our way to the south end of town, just south of 54. More damage. Where we're standing now is the core of that damage here this afternoon. This took a big hit. Really, the damage is kind of sporadic. There are pockets that were hit, pockets not hit. So as you know, tornadoes, they typically come down and go back up. That appears to be what happened here in Jefferson City, but just sheer destruction. But I know a lot of people will come together. I know this town, they will come together and they will rebuild.
Yeah, you certainly know firsthand how strong that community is, Justin. Thank you for walking us through everything. 4-1 meteorologist Megan Danahay also in Jefferson City this afternoon. And Megan, walk us through what you and your photographer have seen since you arrived.
Hi, Claire. We sure have seen a lot. Now, I want to go back to last night when Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton and I were tracking this tornado. It began in Eldon, Missouri. Then it tracked up 54 through Brasito to Justin's location, which is north of Wardsville, on the way into Jefferson City. Then it continued to this location here. We continue with the sporadic damage. Take a look at this roof here. It's missing. Next door, we actually have a roof, so that damage very sporadic. And you come over here, this is actually a law firm, and you can see a 2x4 jammed into the stucco, the side of the building, of course, all the broken glass. On this side, about 3 stories up, a piece of plywood jammed into the stucco, a shingle jammed into the stucco. All of this right here is the entire roof from a staple here in this community, Tennyson's Furniture. It's been selling furniture since the 1930s. And we ran into a resident, a longtime resident, and we asked him, he was walking around in shock. We asked him, man, what does it mean? You've been here your whole life. You haven't seen damage like this. How are you feeling right now? And this is what he said.
I didn't realize how emotional it would be to see the devastation in this town and everything tore up and things gone that have been here forever. Just like this building behind us. Tennyson's Furniture is a Jeff City icon. My mother still talks about her furniture in her home that she bought in the late 60s from Tennyson's. It's just devastating to see the damage.
Now, Eric, Mr. Powell there, he said, yeah, he was in shock. And most of the residents that we ran into, the neighbors this morning, were in a bit of shock. But now you can hear chainsaws going, you can hear blowers. People are putting up plywood together. The spirit of friendship here is really coming out. Neighbors helping neighbors. It's what we always see in disasters like this, Claire. It's a pretty spectacular thing. A lot happening, still a long way to go here. We are east of the state capitol building. We are on East High Street and very close to Lafayette Street. We're near the old historic district up around East Capitol and the prison. Very interesting down here.
Well, Megan, we know you obviously have been in close contact with the National Weather Service. Are they out there right now surveying the damage?
They are out here. It's a private escort for their survey, so we're not with them. But let me talk a little bit about just what we've seen. I'm looking at the EF scale right now and some of the damage indicators that those National Weather Service meteorologists are looking for. For example, EF2 damage. Some indicators would be considerable damage, considerable roofs torn off well-constructed homes. We've seen mobile homes completely destroyed, large trees snapped or uprooted, cars tossed. We've seen all that this morning. We've even seen the backside of this furniture building. It's not there. This is a large, solid structure with the backside of it missing and its roof completely ripped off. That could be close to EF3 damage. Now, I don't know because I'm not trained in doing the damage surveys, but the National Weather Service is, and we will have their report a little bit later today. Claire.
All right, Megan, any idea typically in a situation like this how long it would take? I know you said later today for the National Weather Service and they have that private escort, but is this something they spend hours doing?
They spend hours doing it. They typically look at some of the strongest structures first so they can get an idea of how bad the damage might be, and they go from there. And it depends on how many pockets. They'll go down to where Justin Andrews was. They'll come up here. They'll survey all of that damage, and right now we have one team doing that. It will take hours, but I know they're diligent. I know they want to have information out a little bit later today, so we'll look forward to that.
All right, Megan, great perspective, very helpful information. Meteorologist Megan Dan Hay reporting live for us here in Jefferson City.